Hi folks, welcome to episode 9 of the F1 Grid View. Today we'll be reviewing the finale of the 2021 F1 Championship that was held in Abu Dhabi. You have your host Mika Shah right there. Hi Mika.
Right.
And Harsh Sangvi here with you. So Mika, how was the race?
Crazy. It wasn't that great, but it was crazy.
I think Max described it perfectly in this interview after the race. He said insane thrice or like 4 times. So it was insane. It was insane. It was insane. Are you happy with the winner? What do you think about the winner?
Very happy. Like it took a lot of time to process it. Like even the next day, it was just feeling very unreal.
Correct. I mean, it's been 3 days, so it's sunk in, but the phone call we had just right after the checkered flag and just
It
the
was
both of us
crazy.
shaking and you almost like in tears and just so happy for Max and
I was just crying myself out.
yeah, it was just happy tears. So yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
There were no tears involved.
yep. So yeah, as you can see, we're very happy with the race winners, but of course your heart can't not go out for Lewis, who
I
was
mean, as
genuinely
yeah,
robbed
so
of the title.
as much as I would have been very happy if Lewis also would have won. But if Lewis would have won, the race was pretty boring that way. So
Correct.
I would have been very unhappy with like the race with not Lewis winning. I could have been really happy like him getting his 8th championship, breaking the world record. But in general, if the safety car incident didn't happen, and it's like you've always seen the FIA supporting Lewis for everything,
Correct.
and like you see them supporting Max for one time, and the whole world went crazy. I remember a few of my non-F1 friends. They are like, "Yeah, we get it. There's no need to hype it up so much in this." They were just
There is, there
so
is,
done with it. So done with it.
there
I
genuinely
saw
is.
people. I saw people literally posting stories of F1 and them being like, I don't know shit about this, but like everyone's doing it, so I'm gonna do it. And I was just
Sure,
like, okay, thanks.
sure. That does work like that. Uh, okay, so we'll just move on to the qualifying and then we'll take a quick recap of the race. I'll just help the viewers through because it's been 3-4 days. And F1 has got a lot of new fans. So if there is any new fans, it'll be great to give them a quick recap. So as you see,
Yeah.
this is how the qualification looked like. You had Max at 1, you had Lewis at 2, you have Lando qualifying surprisingly at Q3. He had a fantastic lap. He
It's
just was
amazing.
amazing there. Perez and Carlos Sainz finishing up the top 5 places. You have Valtteri at 6, with Charles at 7. Yuki had a brilliant qualifying, out qualifying Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and Daniel Ricciardo rounding up the top 10. So, to just give you a quick remind or a recap of how this whole thing panned out, you had Max Verstappen finishing on pole, but he did use the soft tires in the second Q2 to get his fastest lap. That meant he had to start the race with soft tires, uh, which Lewis Hamilton did say after qualifying that might just be a strategy from Red Bull's part. So because if he did start on softs, he would get a better start in the race, and he could keep the lead. And on the track like this, uh, your position on the track matters quite a bit. So
Yeah.
that was what they were looking at. So it did seem like an upper hand for Red Bull at that point, but once the lights went
How
out on
that worked
Sunday,
out for the best.
yeah, once the lights went off on Sunday, everything changed. Uh, so Max had a reaction time of 0.35 seconds when the lights went off, where Lewis was 0.25. That's actually 10.10 seconds quicker, which is a lot in terms of F1. So he had a great start. He took the lead at the first turn. Lewis looked like he could take the lap away, but at turn 6, uh, Max just came in very in a very Max way. Took a just slammed the brakes very late. Did a Daniel Ricciardo kind of lunge and just tried to take the position from Lewis. Lewis at his turn didn't see that there was any other position. The only way he could have made it out of that turn while keeping himself on track was colliding with Max, but that didn't happen. So he did cut the chicane, and what do you have then? The FIA did not ask him to give the place back. What was going through your mind at that point, Mika? What was happening? Did you think
I was
there was a
so
penalty?
pissed. I was so pissed. And like during the race, I have said it all more than like 10 times that I am gonna quit F1 if Max doesn't win. I was so close to quitting F1 because I was so pissed. Like, if even well, like I know afterwards we realized that it was Max's fault and everything. But if Lewis was in his place and if Lewis was not, if like say it wasn't his fault also, or whether it was his fault, he wouldn't have gotten a penalty. He would like Max would have definitely gotten a penalty.
Come on, like I just think it reminded me quite a bit of Brazil, where
Yeah,
where Lewis was trying to overtake him, but Max made a similar kind of move and didn't let him. So I just thought
yeah.
there was no penalty for that. There's not going to be any penalty for this. But
But then,
on seeing the replays, Max did the same thing in Abu Dhabi, and he had to give the place back. I mean, he tried giving
yeah,
it once. He got hit in the rear by Lewis. He gave it the second time. He overtook him in the
in,
DRS straight, and he had to
in South
legitimately give it the third time. So I really thought that they would push to give him the place back. But the
yeah,
FI on team radio coming and saying, yeah, he had to give back the advantage he got by cutting the chicane, which they thought Lewis already did, but clearly to everybody watching the race and to Red Bull, there was no giving back the position he gained or the advantage he gained. But yeah, that was that. After that, it just looked like a very smooth sailing altogether. It just didn't seem like there was any
yeah.
way he was going to ever lose this race, or Max was even going to come in.
It
So
was yeah. Like I knew, and like until the safety car incident, it was pretty sure that it is gonna be Lewis now.
yeah,
So whatever we hope, how much ever we pray, it's not gonna be Max.
correct. There was a slight glimmer of hope after the first set of pit stops. Uh, I remember Checo leading, Lewis being behind with 2 seconds behind Checo, and Max being 11 seconds behind Lewis. So,
Hmm.
and there Checo just showed what a great driver he is. He kept Lewis in a matter of a lap and a half. He he had some brilliant overtakes. He no brilliant defending actually. Uh,
Defending.
Lewis did overtake him once, but he came
He
back
Max.
right at the next corner, took out the place back, and he held Lewis for almost 9 seconds. He cut his lead by almost 9 seconds. Towards the end, even when he was actually losing, um, you could hear his race engine just saying, "Okay, okay, back him up, back him up, back him up, back him up," and just put Lewis as much as you can behind, almost as close to Max, so Max can run ahead with that, uh, which I think Sergio was amazingly well
I
done.
think Perez this whole season has like most of the races he has been showing that that Red Bull did a good thing signing him up like
Correct. The
last
experience
year.
shows the number of years he's been in F1 that shows clearly.
Exactly. Like if you if anyone, so I one of my friends started watching Drive to Survive like a few days ago, and in the beginning he was like, I don't like Perez, I don't like Perez. He starts crashing into
Oh
everyone,
yes,
and then
Ocon.
by the end of it, he is like, I'm in love with him. I really love him now, and
Yeah,
it's
but
just that it's just how people realize over a period of time that uh, he has good experience. He's a
he
really good
has
driver.
very
He
good racecraft.
always had the worst car.
Yeah, he's made he's made some great he's made some great races in the Force India. The Force India wasn't
Yeah,
up to the mark, but it was Checo who actually did manage to even get the car to the podium or close to the points or in the points at most points, most games. So yeah, another thing that felt really good for me was just Checo defending, and at one part you just saw him and Lewis had just overtaken him, but Max was right behind in that frame. You saw how important that was to Max. Another part is if we're talking about Checo, if Checo did not hold Lewis up, Lewis definitely had that much of a distance that he could have pitted in the safety during the safety car.
Yeah.
Just because of how close Checo got Max to Lewis, didn't allow Lewis to pit at the second set of the safety car and get a pair of softs also that he could also fight for the last lap. So I think
think,
this victory is as much as Max's, Checo's as it is Max's.
and of course Latifi.
Oh yes, and Mick for crashing into him and saving his dad's legacy. How are we
Yeah,
forgetting all those conspiracy theories?
yeah, but it was like I feel only the proper Lewis Hamilton fans would have been happy with the race if Lewis won, because all the Max fans and all those who didn't know where to support would have been so furious because the race
They were
is going to
just,
be very
yeah,
boring.
exactly. They were just happy with having a new winner at the end of it. Sorry, we'll just move on to the next slide while we talk about this. They were just happy with having a new winner. You've had 6 years or 7 years with Mercedes winning, be it Rosberg for a year or be it Hamilton all the while. You just wanted a new champion. You just wanted a new race winner. And I remember vaguely watching some parts of 2013 or 12 with the highlights just like this, how this race was a big event. In 11 or 12, Vettel was
Yeah,
very close to Alonso, and I just remembered Horner saying, Sebastian Vettel, you are champion of the world, and how he just did it to Max again. And that just brought back so many feelings, and I just felt so good when he did that, and Max deserved it thoroughly.
where do we start?
Start from like where I said Mac this one Sebka.
Sorry?
I was talking about Seb, no? Seb winning.
Okay. Yeah, so like if I saw a lot of like Lewis Hamilton fans also, after like 2 days of getting mad at FIA, they were like, you know what, he actually deserved the championship. He did like drive really well. He's an amazing driver. No doubt he deserved the championship.
He did, but I still don't see a lot of Lewis fans just letting go of
Yeah,
this thing. But
of course.
to be fair, I'm very happy Max won. If I was in Lewis's place or if I was in Mercedes's place, I don't think I would let this go because clearly
Of course.
Massey has not followed the rules, and I imagine if this was the other way around, if this was Max and it was Lewis,
Max would have
you
been
did
furious.
Max would have been furious. That's why I'm so bloody impressed with how Lewis
We
kept his cool post the
Yeah,
race.
even during the race, we've seen Max taunt at like
Yeah,
FIA for
of course that was
saying,
going to happen. Of course,
oh,
of
yeah,
course, of course,
exactly.
of course. Of course this, of
Yeah,
course that.
and like even so, if Max was in Lewis's place, he wouldn't even have gone congratulated him. He would have just walked off. He would have
Um,
just walked off.
we saw that last week in Jeddah. At the
Uh,
ceremony where they give the trophies away, he took his trophy and he just walked off without any
yeah,
celebration champagne, without any just staying on the podium. He just decided that he had to go and he left. So yeah,
yeah,
Max is, I wouldn't say he's a sore loser, but he did want to win. But if this was the other way around, I don't think anybody would let go. And I don't think you should let go because it could happen to
yeah.
anybody. None of the
No,
teams will be happy with this because the FIA, it's not a it's not a TV show. It's not entertainment. This is a real sport where the teams work really hard for spend a lot of money, and you have to realize it's not just Lewis. The Mercedes F1 teams hires more than 2,000 people. 2,000 people are rooting for Lewis to win the championship. Their
it's
increments,
not
their
just for these
bonuses.
people.
No,
It is
I'm
not
just
just
saying in that
yeah.
point, it is just Mercedes. So there are so many people who are dependent on that. You
Exactly,
can't just
exactly.
make rules at your this
Of
thing.
course.
The stewarding this year has been absolutely atrocious. However good the racing has been on the track, stewarding has been equally bad. And yeah, I don't see Michael Massey coming back next year.
Yeah.
Nor do I want him, to be honest. Yeah, strong words. I'm sorry, but yeah. So yeah, coming to our final race classification, you had Max at P1, winning the championship as well. You had Lewis following him, Carlos Sainz at P3, Tsunoda at P4, Gasly P5, Valtteri P6, Lando P7, Esteban Ocon P8. I don't even know what happened to any of those after the top three. I know
I
Carlos
don't know.
because
I don't even know what happened to Carlos. I feel they've only showed Max and Lewis. They have not
correct.
shown anything other than if someone crashed. That's it.
Yeah,
So it
I have
was
no clue
like,
what happened.
yeah, exactly. I can't even rate them today. I don't know what they did.
Yeah, I don't know what Gasly, how is Gasly made it to the top five when he was
I don't
P13?
know how Carlos got the podium.
Carlos did qualify very well, but I don't know how he's on the. I think I really need to see the race again with their perspective because I have no clue what happened. I have no clue how Daniel got himself to
I
P12. I
exactly
don't know
even
how Mick was
even Lando
P14.
qualified. Lando qualified P3.
Yeah, what just happened?
It's
Uh,
like either we were too focused on watching Max and Lewis, or they just didn't show them.
they didn't just show them, I'm sure, because
Yeah,
yeah. Uh,
they have no memory
oh,
whatsoever of
did
what
you did
happened.
you did you hear about the interview Checo gave post race? So what interestingly happened was why you see Sergio after his brilliant defending at P1 and P2, finishing at
Yeah.
P15, is they thought he might have less fuel. He thought he might crash in the
Oh,
56th or 57th lap if Max was in the
oh.
lead and if he crashed or if he had to pull out, stop by the side of the tracks because of his fuel not being sufficient enough, he would have caused a
Then he
safety
wouldn't
car.
have. Yeah.
And there you could have the opposite. So they were that short. They wanted Max to win. They couldn't risk. They risked the constructors championship in this, and they said like let's give everything to Max. And
Hmm.
they made Sergio quit that in case he did pull out the safety car, there shouldn't be any problems to Max. So yeah,
Yeah. That
kudos to
is
Red Bull
smart.
for that. Yeah, that's very
That is
smart
smart.
actually.
I mean, there was another rumor that because Max had to lap the lapped cars. I There were rumors that they removed him because there would have been one less car to overtake.
Yeah. That was also one of the things going on. No, but he made it clear there was some fuel
Yeah.
issues, and they just wanted to remove the car away so that it
Red
didn't
Bull
stop
has
mid-track.
been very smart. Red Bull has been very smart this whole season.
Yes, they've always
Every
been genuinely this smart, but they've never had a car to support it. And to be fair,
Yeah.
Lewis has not been Lewis. He's 36. He's elder now, but he's started to make mistakes. Uh, Baku was a big one. You can't overheat the brakes like that and just go straight
Of course.
into. Uh, so Baku was a mistake. Silverstone was definitely a mistake because he did get a penalty. So he's not had a perfect time. He's made
Yeah,
mistakes. He's had
of
issues.
course.
So then and Red Bull have been able to capitalize on that. So
Red Bull was like, it is now or never. So we have to do it whatsoever.
definitely, it was now or never for that. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, very, very, very impressed with them. Uh, something you don't see in all of this is Vettel finishing P16, qualifying P16, finishing P11, and taking away P10 and taking away the overtaker
The
of
most,
the year, the
yeah.
overtaker, the
I actually
Crypto.com.
wanted because so there was Kimi, Vettel, and Alonso fighting for it. I
Correct.
really hope Kimi would get it. I don't know why I just
Yeah,
wanted him. Even though he
yeah.
wouldn't have said anything, he would have just said thank you and just
We didn't
left.
even get his driver of the day radio call talk, so that whole thing went to waste. We could have easily got Perez driver of the day, which
Even
he
the
totally
donuts.
was. We didn't get
Even the
any
donuts.
donuts. It was kind of a sad end for Kimi and for the race. So yeah,
Yeah. Even
both
Antonio just left.
yeah
With
both the Alfa Romeos not
Yeah.
finishing. Okay,
Moving
uh,
ahead,
moving ahead, please.
driver standing.
This looks very good. We have Max
It just
Verstappen
makes me happy.
We have Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Bottas, and Perez as expected, but there is the smooth operator jumping in at P5. He is the best of the rest. He has taken places from Lando and Charles and just jumped them both up. Uh,
Um,
pretty impressive for a new driver of not a very highly rated driver, but a new driver at a new team,
Yeah.
his fourth team in 5 years. Just very well done at this point. So yeah, very smooth by Carlos right there. Norris finishing P6 after a fantastic year and being P3. Uh, just had a fantastic first half and then just slid very
Yeah.
badly in the second half. Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly, and Alonso finishing up the rounding up the top 10. Uh,
See,
as expected, I don't, like we said, we don't see a lot of changes in this happening lasting because the lead Ferrari had from McLaren and the
but
lead Alpine
even
had
if,
from Alpha Tauri, and that
yeah,
was not going to
even if
happen.
Perez would have finished, Red Bull didn't have a chance in
No, they
constructors.
needed one of the Mercedes to DNF.
Yeah, but that was not going to happen easily. Unless, of course, Gasly or someone went into Bottas or Lewis.
No. We've understood this is it's not a team game and like that because last week Alpha
Yeah.
Tauri had Yuki at P12. They could have easily pitted him and got fastest lap and taken that off Lewis, but they didn't. They chose not to do it. So it's very clear Alpha Tauri is his own team. However, it is under the Red Bull shadow.
Yeah.
Something really cool we didn't talk about last week. Uh, Alonso, how badly he wanted Max to win. He last week put on a set of softs at the very end and tried to steal the fastest lap of Lewis. Just sadly, he missed it by a couple of tenths of a second. But there is
Yeah.
some very fierce rivalry there since the 2007 McLaren days. And Alonso was trying his best to not see Lewis get another win. And I think he'll be very happy with Max winning the championship.
There were a lot of drivers that were very happy for Max winning.
They were, but there was a very sour taste in everybody's mouth. I saw a lot of clips after the race where they were approaching Lewis and giving him a hug and saying how bad he had
Yeah.
it. Publicly, you had George Russell, but I mean, come on, he's a Mercedes driver next year, so how much are you going to take of that? But he is the drivers' union chair, like he's the head of the drivers' union, so him coming on and saying something about the FIA like this is a big deal. Similarly, Daniel said that the situation was very effed up. He wouldn't want to be a part of that. And a lot of drivers saying, why was that happening? Why were the only four cars lapping the safety car? Why wasn't everybody allowed to pass through? A very mixed race, but I'm sure most people are happy with the outcome. So, yeah. As usual, you can change the rules, but you have Red Bull again coming back on top with the fastest pit stops. Ferrari has been doing really well. They've got a
Yeah.
P2 here. They did a brilliant double stack with
They've
Leclerc
been
and Sainz.
really good.
So they've been great. McLaren had been faltering, but they've come back and they've done pretty well as well. Uh, so yeah,
Yeah.
all in all, good pit stops under 2.5 for the top 10. Very well done. So this is a very interesting graph where you see Lewis's gap to Max. If you start from every race, both of them have finished. They are just separated by 9 milliseconds through 23 races and just 9 milliseconds. That's how close they have been. And
So crazy.
it is absolutely crazy because Turkish Grand Prix is a big, and the Russian Grand Prix are big differences, but the rest of them have been so incredibly close because they haven't been able to separate each other even by seconds. That's how good their qualifyings also have been. And if you see the race pace also, 9 milliseconds through the whole season is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. Uh, these are the number of points every constructors has from one driver or the versus the other. What are your key takings from this, Rika?
Gasly has clearly have holding all the points for AlphaTauri.
I know, guys. I got this stat from meme page. That's why they've actually might have done it through people's height, but Yuki isn't that short. Come on, guys. he could fit in the circle.
It's really good how both the drivers of Ferrari are so consistent.
Oh yes, oh yes. I really
Like
do
it's
not see a happy ending. I'll completely genuinely be honest. I think Ferrari is going to have a fantastic car next year. They might
yeah,
be in the running for the top two, but I have a very, very, very weird feeling that they will not know who the number one driver is because of how good science has been this year. And
of course.
if you remember how bad the Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton rivalry was, I expect this to be even worse because they're
Yeah,
very strong
we
personalities.
went we went over this post race that in like a couple of years when Lewis would not be there with Mercedes anymore, Mercedes won't approach a very young driver because they
Yeah,
wouldn't want two young drivers who are both very arrogant or
yeah, but
not just
yeah, but for that matter, Charles is seems why he's elder, but he's not as as old as people seem to think.
so,
Just
exactly. So
experience.
it's going to be the same thing over here.
Correct.
It's going to be the same thing next year when Ferrari doesn't get to decide because it'll be very. And Charles has been doing so good. Carlos has been, and just difficult.
Correct. Correct. But yeah, that's a good option. But I do see them having a very strong rivalry over the coming years. So let's hope that Mercedes are in a good spot and they don't have to come between and play team games there and just give team orders. Esteban
Yeah,
Ocon and Alonso have had a very good bond. They
yeah.
genuinely seem to enjoy each other's company and help each other to progress and make the team better. So yeah, but
And
nobody has
Ocon
a bigger
fights like a
gap.
lion.
What?
Ocon fights like a lion.
Yeah, he does. Perez does. Oh, please, Perez is the is the
Alonso told
defend menaces.
Alonso told Esteban to fight like a lion.
I
It's
know,
a
but
hard.
I know,
Yeah,
but he did fight actually very well. He couldn't
he's
do
no doubt.
anything.
Yeah,
He couldn't do anything on those tires. So poor Ocon, but yeah, that's gonna stick with him through his
yeah.
life. Moving on.
But
Sorry.
yeah, Perez has one of the really good drivers this year. Like barring the fact that he was not competing for the first position, but he was doing really well.
Yeah, he was. Moving on. Carlos and his podiums. Whenever he finishes in the top three, something or the other has to go wrong, doesn't it? You have
Yeah,
you have some very interesting takeaways. Uh, yeah, I think the Gasly one or the Vettel one has to be my favorite. Just Gasly's win in Monza and Vettel back on the podium after a year at Baku were two things that
yeah.
warmed my heart. Yeah, moving on. Okay then.
Last favorite
We
part.
have our favorite. I don't even think I want to play this
I
today.
think I'll just tell you. I'm gonna give a 10 on 10 for Max
Wait,
and
wait, wait, wait,
Lewis.
wait. We'll do a small intro.
There's
Okay.
nothing to say. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
So normally, if you're joining us for the first time in the podcast, normally we do rank all the drivers based on 10 points for the qualification classification and the race classifications. But I don't even know how anybody did except Lewis and Max, so we don't know how to go about this.
Everyone,
So okay,
everyone
so
who
just
is
because we're in a
in
good mood and if anybody is listening to us, I want them to have a good Christmas. So everybody below Lewis, for me it's an 8.
no,
Lewis is a 9 point.
no, listen, everybody below Lewis with green will be an 8, with
Okay,
a white will be a 7, and with red will be a 6.
okay,
Except Kimi.
and Latifi,
Yeah, and Latifi, of course. How can we forget him?
correct. Both of them are 10s.
Yeah,
Lewis is a 9.5.
yeah.
Sorry, Lewis for me is a 10, and Max is a 9.5. just because of the slow start and losing the grid place. And Michael Massey is a 0. Please, if we could add that, Michael Massey gets a 1 from
I
me
had
or
a
a 0
picture of
from me.
I had a picture of him.
Yeah, so very disappointing Stewarts this year, and I hope we genuinely see better quality next year. Speaking of next year, we have some very, very interesting slides for you, just a sneak peek into what next year looks like. So as you know, this is the last year with 13-inch tires. We have 18-inch tires going forward next year, and a lot of drivers were testing through the week on Monday, on Tuesday, and on Wednesday today. So yeah, you have the fastest tires, which is the McLarens, Norris, Ricardo, Vettel, Russell in the Mercedes. If you've noticed that. Small change there, and you have in the next page
It's a huge
Bottas.
change.
And
It's
you
a
have
huge change.
yeah, it's a huge change. And in the next one, you have Bottas in Alfa Romeo. So yeah, and if you look closely below Alfa Romeo again, there is another driver you'll see. That is Yang Shujo, who is gonna make his debut next year in these new tires. They're still using the 2021 cars, but they're just testing these 18-inch tires. So yeah, just wanted to tell you that how this is going, and McLaren seems like the faster car here, but we will just know all of that in Barcelona and
My
pre-season testing.
hopes high.
I mean, Mercedes is not driving at full capacity, so yeah, you
Yeah.
never know. But Russell had a great time. He's actually driven 214 laps, which is one of the highest of all drivers there. So
I think
that's
it is the
actually pretty
highest.
cool. It is the highest, and he needs more experience in the car. He wants to get used to it, and good luck to him, and good luck on him defeating
All of
Max
them.
and Lewis. Yeah, good luck to all of them as such.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's you have this from us. That's it from us for the last episode of the season. But that's not the last you'll see of us before the next season, because we have a lot more in store for you guys. A lot more of recaps, lot more, uh, just a lot more F1 related stuff. So keep subscribed to the channel, keep subscribed to the podcast wherever you get your
We won't make
podcasts.
you feel like F1 is not on right now.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a small part of us that is going to miss F1, but this season has been so good. I think we can talk about it for the next couple of months and then look forward to the 2022 season. So yeah, we have a lot more in store for you guys. So we hopefully see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.